Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of GPS Installs. All right, so we're working on a 2021 International MV Series tractor. Pretty nice looking truck. I mean, it's change the angle here. Not bad looking. They modernized everything. Down here, we have our 9-pin green. You have to pull out these 30 Torx, T30 Torx fasteners. There's two of them, and a 12 millimeter bolt inside of that hole there. This panel will all come out. Run your cable under the bottom, all the way under the bottom and underneath, and you can bring it up through this center portion here and bring it up inside, bundle it up, do what you need to do with it. So there's your logbook cable. Next step, power ignition ground. Well, this vehicle has driver ID. So what I decided to do is kind of put everything in the center console. Everything's right here. It's just another way of doing it. If you look here, we got a cigarette lighter, constant 12. It's always on with the key off. We got a good ground at the cigarette lighter. We also have a USB port. Again, 3 of these T30 Torx. Pulled out of the back, and business as usual, right? Green is hot, white is ground. And as always on internationals, we have a pink and white going into the back USB. White is a true ignition. It's a switched ignition. Nice thing about this, it is a fuse protected power point or set of power points. So if anything goes wrong with your device, of course, the vehicle is protected in addition to the fuses that are in line with the particular piece of equipment on this install. Now, another thing you can do if we didn't have to have driver ID and everything else on this, something else we could do is on the passenger side, this lifts up and out. We have a fuse block, right? And if we go over to the center, there is a Phillips head screw. It's like a number 3. That whole thing just spins out. This whole panel pops out. Underneath this panel, there's a bundle of wiring. You're going to find a big red and a big pink under there that are capped off. Those are spares to be used for telematics, cameras, etc. Everything can get hidden underneath. If you're doing a camera install, you can actually pull these two 10 millimeter bolts out. This whole A-pillar arm or B-pillar arm just comes right out, and you can run across here and mount your camera, whatever you need to do to the glass. Very easy truck to install in. It doesn't require a lot. It's just we took the time to kind of figure this out, if you will. So driver ID on this truck, we had to do driver ID, so there's a spare panel in here. It just pops out, and you look, you can see where the clips are, one on top, one on the bottom. Once one comes out, they all come out pretty easy. Make sure your metal washer is pressed all the way down so the button doesn't come out. It might be a little tiny bit loose. That's okay. It's part of it. So it's right here where the driver can see it when it's all together. When all is said and done, this panel will go back into place. We also have I guess if you want to call it a change tray or something that'll snap into place or stay in there. When this is all said and done, I have decked the bottom of this. I've got all my cable for ECMD, logbook, whatever you want to call it, my extra cable for my driver ID. My buzzer is in there as well. Everything is zip tied in. This will fit inside of this hole. And what I'm going to do is there's a wire loom that's in there. I'll put one big zip tie around that. Closest to the right where there's less metal in the dash. I'll zip tie it into place. This device will be good to go. So there you have it. 2021 International MV Series. Quick review. Green 9-pin. 2 T30s, 12 millimeter on the side. Pull it out. Do your work. Run your cable underneath. Over to the side. Up through the bottom. Power, ignition, and ground. There you go. White is hot. Green is hot. White is ground. Pink is ignition. Kind of almost standard for a lot of internationals. Make sure you zip tie your fuses together, and we'll tighten this all up before we put it back. We've decked the box, the driver ID, everything. Driver ID into the panel. Also, if you stick your fingers under this, there's not a lot of good spots to go for a driver ID button, so just be warned. You can also go to the bottom of this, and it'd be kind of clean looking, or you could probably go up in the top if you wanted to on this to get your driver ID button in. I just decided to use a panel because it's right here. The guy can hang his keys or whatever, swipe it and go. Option B, of course, like I said earlier, if you have enough cable, sometimes the logbook cable isn't long enough. Phillips head screw is up in the front, right there. Undo it, it comes all the way out. This whole thing is kind of in. You have to like lift up, pull out, and you got plenty of room under there for everything. You can also move your box out of the way. Don't put the box underneath the fuse panel. Put it off to the side. 210 millimeters on the B pillar. Pull them out. This whole thing pops off, or you can tuck in up in the front. If you just loosen it up, tuck in up in the front, hide all your cable if you're doing a camera up in the top. So there you go, everybody. Your Down and Dirty MV series from International 2021. Enjoy.